Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 70 of Dork Tunes. And this week, obviously, it's me, Noob. I've got the lovely esteemed guest who I'd like to introduce you to.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone who's watching.
And who are you now?
But yeah, I'm Julie Elven. I'm a soundtrack vocalist based in Munich, Germany. And I've worked as a soloist with James Newton Howard, who is a Hollywood film composer. And also I've been a soloist on a lot of different video game scores. So for example, Horizon Zero Dawn, now the new Horizon Forbidden West, World of Warcraft, Legion, League of Legends, Honor of Kings, a lot of different game projects that I'm just very honored to be a part of.
You have done an incredible amount of game music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Julie, how did you start? And did you know that you were going to become like such a big figure within the games music kind of community as such?
Yeah, of course not. Like, I think everyone who is working in music knows that you can't really plan these things. You can put your effort towards them, of course, and work hard, but of course you can't really plan to get where you are. But I kind of stumbled into game music, to be honest, because I started out when I was 20 to just wanting to record myself because I've been playing the piano, playing the violin, and just writing some compositions, and I wanted to record them. So I started to set up a very small home studio setup. And then I uploaded that to YouTube and SoundCloud, all these different little compositions that I had. And I started gaining just a very small but passionate following, just some followers on there. And then one day, an epic music composer, Ivan Torrent, some who are listening might know him from more of production and trailer music. He reached out to me and we recorded the song, which was called Icarus. So the song got pretty well known, thankfully, and then more and more composers reached out to me to record solo vocals for their music. And this is how it all kind of evolved. So I started working on production music, then smaller film scores and short films. And then it kind of bridged over into video game music at one point. And I'm just so grateful that it did. Yeah, because as I said before, you can't really plan these things. Yeah.
So what was your first kind of real video game that you did?
I remember that very well. So it was back in, I think it was 2015, at the beginning of 2015, composer Ian Livingstone, he reached out to me to record solo vocals on I think it was a trailer for Total War Attila. And so we did the trailer, and that was just my very first video game collaboration. And then the very next day, Joris Deman from the Horizon score reached out to me because Ian has told him about my singing. So that is how everything evolved then. Yeah, it was very overwhelming at first, but very cool.
And like stuff like Aloy's theme from Horizon Zero Dawn is a huge piece of music, and it's a real classic. So it must be really special to be able to, for any of the work that you do, to be able to hear that back and kind of go, "That's me. I did that."
It's, to be honest, it's still pretty surreal even after some years. I'm sure for Joris it's the same way. I don't know if he's just chill with it, but I think we're all in the music team. We're still kind of overwhelmed that we made the music for the game. And for me to just be able to be a small part of it is just insane. And now to be back with Horizon Forbidden West is so much more amazing. So yeah, it feels very beautiful, and I'm just very grateful. And actually, Aloy's theme, do you know how it kind of came to be?
No.
So what I know from Joris is that he was in a meeting, I think, with the rest of the music and audio team at Gorilla. And suddenly he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, guys!" And he just walked out of that meeting. I think that's how he told the story. And then he just went to his studio and composed Aloy's theme in just a few minutes. and then it was kind of done. That's what he's always told in interviews. And then the way he connected with me was also a bit funny because he was just writing an email to me like, hey, like, yo, he didn't say yo, but it was like, hey, you don't know me, but I'm a colleague of Ian's, so would you like to sing for me like tomorrow? And that was kind of how we connected. And then we recorded Aloy's theme, and so at first we didn't know that it was going to be that huge theme. It was just that demo, but I think actually the demo itself ended up being Aloy's theme in the end. So yeah, it was all very, very quick, and yeah, it felt a bit magical, to be honest.
I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn was huge. You know, it just became this monster hit. You know,
Yeah,
and I have to
it's
admit, I am so looking forward to Horizon Forbidden West. It is scary, you
true. Me
know.
too. I'm looking forward to the game as well, just as a player. Like
Definitely.
yeah.
But it must be nice to be able to see the stuff that you've worked on as well as kind of being released. You know, you see now there's a massive community around like video game vinyl.
Ah,
You can
that's
actually
true.
purchase
Yeah.
your work, the stuff that you've worked on, and have it in your home.
Yeah, that's just wild to think about it, right?
Yeah.
That it that people do that. So that it's actually in the homes of people.
Yeah, I've got it
Yeah.
downstairs.
You got like the vinyl?
Yeah, yeah,
Have you got the white version?
yeah.
Like,
The big box one. Yeah, the big box set.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got that.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Ah, that's so cool. That's amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I have a big thing for video game vinyl. It's
Mhm.
got slightly out of control now because I don't really have anywhere to
Oh,
put them.
oh, but it must look very cool in your home, right? Which scores do you have? Like, which are your favorite vinyls?
Ooh, that's a difficult one, but I think a lot of the work by um, Jessica Curry
Hmm. Oh
blows me
yeah,
away.
she's amazing.
Like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture was probably one of
Mhm.
my favorite games of the last generation. That soundtrack, I listened to it pretty much on a weekly basis, you know, and there was a point where it was a daily basis thing. Um, Jess is a really good friend, and I just find there's something quite, there's almost like a kind of religious kind of tone to it. You know, it's quite choral. There's, you know, she uses chorals, choristers quite a lot, and it's just really beautifully put together. I always remember she sent me the soundtrack about 6 weeks before it came out, and there was a
Oh,
couple of pieces on there that the second I heard them, I'm a very emotional music listener. I cry a lot of music, or it can make me cry, and
I
there was
love that.
on that, yeah, that made me cry. And then
Mhm.
on release, I played the game, and
Mhm.
it was um, it was the exact two pieces, same pieces of music in the particular place they were in the actual game made me cry.
Mhm.
It's just,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
I mean,
I remember I remember one of the pieces particularly well. Don't have the name in my mind anymore,
mm,
but on one of the orchestral concert tours I've been a soloist for in the Netherlands, they played everybody like one piece of Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. It was a string orchestral piece, and it was very, very moving.
it's
So
beautiful.
I cried just listening in the rehearsal. So yeah, I had just tears in my eyes. Yeah, because it was
Yeah,
so beautiful.
there's a lot of music that does that. And, you know, one soundtrack I really wish I could get on like a physical in any form would be, particularly on vinyl, would be John Hillman's score for That Dragon Cancer.
Oh, yeah, that is so good as well.
It's a beautiful score. There's
Mhm.
a piece of music on it called Awake, Oh Awake, My Joel. And the way that he's written it, it just, you know, it lets the person listening hear every single note and lets you breathe through the notes between them. And just the love, the joy, the pain, the sorrow, every emotion that can be is in that piece of music, and it's heartbreaking, you know, particularly with the subject theme, you know.
Mm.
But I have a particular thing, like pretty much every Saturday night, I will turn the TV off, put some vinyl on, and just sit and listen. I find that really relaxing, you know.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. And now I really have, after we stop talking, I really have to listen to that particular piece because now I want to experience all that pain and sorrow and joy that
Yeah.
you've mentioned. It must be very moving.
It's
Yeah.
extremely moving, you know. Even all these years later, I still get upset listening to it, you know?
Okay.
And I always remember I spoke to John before, um,
Mhm.
and obviously, you know, the way he said that he did it was, it just kind of, he sat down at a piano late at night once, and it just all just came out, you know.
Mm.
And he just knew then that was the way that it needed to sound and how it was going to. And I
Mm.
mean, obviously, you do your vocals.
Mhm.
Do you kind of have creative input into that as well, or whenever you're working on someone's pieces of music, or?
Yeah, it always depends. So, for example, on Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm mainly interpreting what, for example, Joris or someone else from the music team and composer team is writing. So I just put all of my kind of interpretation of how Aloy might feel in that moment just into it, which is beautiful. I love this process. And at the same time, on other video games or other soundtrack projects, I've been very fortunate to also be a writer or to co-write something. For example, I think in pop music it's called top lining when you write the lyrics and the melody. And I've been doing something like this on some video games also in the last year. So that's been a new development for me. And it's very beautiful. I love both sides, like just interpreting something, but also sometimes to be a co-writer because I have this background in composition and piano playing, violin arrangements. So yeah, it's beautiful to bring different kind of creative parts of yourself into a project.
That's awesome. And I know that obviously with the pandemic, we've not been kind of able to do as much as we kind of
Yeah,
wanted to do. You know, I've seen
yeah.
you doing live shows. You know, you must really enjoy doing those.
Yeah, I do. They were really missing. Like I really missed them from my heart last year and also now, of course. Yeah, because there were some concerts planned. There was even a recording at Air Studios planned. I'm not going to say more about it because it's kind of I can't talk more about it. But there was a lot of things planned. Um,
I love Air
but
Studios. I love Air Studios. It's such a beautiful space.
yeah, I was never there. I was like 3 times. I was kind of almost there. Like it was planned 3 times throughout my career, and it was always like, oh, now it's not happening. Okay, and then the pandemic came. So yeah, but at one point, it's like on my bucket list. One day, I will be a soloist recording in Air Studio. Almost.
Fourth time lucky. Here we go.
Yeah, 3 times.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
space. It's in a lovely area, and it's really accessible. And I was really lucky to be able to spend time in the space with Gareth Coker when he
Tell me about it.
yeah, when he was
Yeah,
doing the music for Ori. And
amazing.
yeah, it was one of the best days of my life. You know, it still makes, you know, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up when I think about it. How lucky I've been,
Oh,
you know. And one of the other things as well is I've literally just had the very first game that I was music consultant for was released a few weeks ago, and it's releasing on Switch. Hopefully, well, it will be releasing on Switch soon.
oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And that's
That's
a real
incredible.
strange experience for me.
Mhm.
Seeing my name in the credits for a game is
Mm,
mind blowing, you know, and that must be
yeah,
you as well. Because you see that when you're doing it.
yeah, it's crazy. And we never get used to it, right? It's
No,
always just like Like what?
And
Yeah.
what's been really lovely is, and I try not to think about it too much because I get a bit weirded out by it in a way, is that when I was working on the Magnificent Truffle Pigs,
Mhm.
I didn't really think about it, oddly enough, in this
Mhm.
way. I kind of got to, because of what I was doing and the people that I suggested, and the person that did the score in the end, who was Kevin Penkin, who's
Mhm.
amazing. Honestly, he's non-stop creative genius. But
Mhm.
I never really thought that actually, in a small way, I had a big part in how the game was going to sound. You
Of
know,
course you had. Yeah.
blows my mind.
That's just, yeah, yeah. I totally get that feeling. But that's actually so amazing. Like, huge congratulations.
Thank you. I
When
definitely.
is it coming out?
It's currently out. It's on Steam, and then
Oh,
it'll be on Switch soon.
oh, okay. Now I get it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
been
that's
getting
so
really good
exciting.
reception. You know, and it was weird. I don't know whether you know. Do you know Edge magazine?
Who?
Edge magazine,
I don't know them. No.
a UK magazine, and it's really really well respected. And they
Mhm.
did a feature on it, and they reviewed it, and it's really strange to see, people that I consider friends being interviewed in a big magazine like that. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. Oh my God. I have to like read up on that and join the hype train. Ah,
so
so cool.
speaking about kind of live music and stuff, when was, obviously we haven't been able to do that for a long time now. When was the last time that you were able to stand on stage and do, some live music?
Like as a performer,
Yeah.
I really have to think about that because it's been like forever ago.
Oh,
It was just before the pandemic. No, it was. I know I've done a lot of live performances in 2019, but
yeah.
actually, I'm not sure if this is weird, but I know that at the end of 2019, I was still performing, but I don't know exactly what date and what it exactly was anymore. I know I've been performing at Gamescom in
Uh-huh.
2019, but that was already in August.
Mm,
Then I've done concerts with the North Netherlands Symphony Orchestra. We've played
wow,
video game music.
wow.
Yeah, and there have been other performances, but I don't I don't really remember anymore.
Am I correct? I, do I remember it? Did you
Mhm.
share the stage and work with Austin Wintry at one point? Am I correct?
Oh, I didn't, but I performed his piece. I was born for this from
Yeah,
Journey,
I
and
remember.
I think you maybe saw the video. Yeah, and Austin commented and shared it. Thankfully, I would love
Honestly,
to at one point to work with him, of course.
honestly,
Yeah,
it makes my hair stand up. It was so amazing. It was beautiful, really
really.
beautiful.
Oh, well, we had like the piece itself is so amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's just incredible. And then also to have we had dancers at this orchestral event. So I was kind of just going, how do you say that in English? Like just wading through the dancers.
Weaving through. Yeah.
Yeah, and just interacting with them. And I really have to say, to be honest, it was always performing this piece. It was a very special, almost spiritual experience. So you get that feeling with just a very small amount of pieces that you perform, I feel, as a performer. But I was born for this from Journey, performing that. Yeah, I don't have any words. And it's in these amazing old languages
Hmm.
like ancient Greek and some old, it's in ancient Greek, Japanese, French, some other old languages that I think Latin is in there as well. And like some kind of old Germanic kind
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know anymore. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
have to,
And they're all like full of wisdom. and just to, yeah, it was a very special experience. I would like to explain that more eloquently, but I can't because it's very hot. It has 34 degrees here, and also
Oh
I
wow.
lost my words
Yeah,
on that.
it's sort of kind of hot here, but it's a bit,
Yeah.
weather.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a really difficult question.
Okay. Please go ahead.
What would be the game score that you would consider your favorite?
Oh, like that I worked on, or just in general?
In general, either or, one that you worked on, or just in general.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That really is difficult. Can I name several?
Yes.
I have to name several, otherwise it's not working. So like, but my favorite game scores that I've worked on were definitely Horizon Zero Dawn, of course, with Horizon Forbidden West, which just released its new gameplay trailer, by the way, for anyone watching, just to promote the gameplay trailer a bit. And also we could talk finally, like as a music team, we could finally reveal that we're working on Horizon Forbidden West, which was great as well. So Aloy's world is always super special to
Yeah.
me. And then two other game scores that are very close to my heart are also the 2 times that I could sing on a Star Guardian theme for League of Legends with composer Eduard Brenneisen. He's just an incredible artist, and yeah, that was also very special. And then lastly, if I just have to choose like 3 now of my favorites, lastly, singing Anduin's theme for World of Warcraft with amazing composer Neil Acree. So that was very special as well. And we actually performed that piece at the, what was it? The Mosma Festival in Malaga. Yeah, the movie score Malaga Festival, and we performed it with an orchestra. And it was also the first time I met Neil in person. So then we were like, oh, you were the one I was collaborating with all the time. That's nice, because he was flying in from California and I was just flying in from Germany to Malaga. That's pretty doable. But yeah, those were like, if I had to choose 3, those were my favorite 3 game scores. And now when it comes to favorite game scores of other people, like Witcher 3
Oh
is
yes.
my absolutely favorite game score, I have to say. Then Journey from by Austin Wintry. And then there are so many more that I can't really choose one. But Witcher 3 and Journey are, I think they, and also Ori and the Blind Forest. It's an amazing game score
Yeah.
by Gareth Coker and with vocals by Aaron Brighton. It's just amazing.
So good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that kind of brings us to the end of the show. So all I've got left to do is to say a huge thank you to spend some time with me. And I will apologize because obviously I mentioned to Julie before we started, but you may have heard some background noise because there's some DIY happening downstairs that I'm unable to stop happening. So
Which is pretty cool. I think now everyone's waiting to see the result of the
I'm
DIY
definitely sending
stuff.
you some pictures. But yes, a huge thank you for spending some time with me today, Julie. I really appreciate it, and it's an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure to speak to you, Pete. And also, I really enjoyed to just talk to you, like in person almost for the first time. So you're such a kind and beautiful human being. So thank you so much. It was really interesting.
Thank you ever so much.
Okay.
Oh.